Hello everyone, thank you for having me at Tracing Summit today. My name is Alastair Robertson and I'm a software engineer working with a company called G Research down in London. But actually what I'm here to talk to you about today is a project that I created in my own free time and have been working on and off for the past couple of years. So this project is BPFtrace, and it's a new high-level tracing language for Linux powered by BPF. So I'm sure there's people in this room who know a lot more about BPF itself than I actually do. But just to make sure everyone's on the same page, I'm going to go through a bit of background to explain BPF before talking about my talk on BPFtrace. So BPF, or the Berkeley packet filter, is actually fairly old technology that's shared between a few operating systems. And what it is basically an in-kernel virtual machine into which user programs can load. User processes can load programs that define how we want to filter packets at the kernel layer. And it's used by TCP, for example. The main benefits of doing filtering at the kernel layer, rather than just dumping more packets and performing filtering in user space, is that far less copying is needed to ensure you filter out a lot of packets. So this gives big performance benefits. But how does it relate to tracing? Well, fortunately, over the last 4 or so years, quite a lot of work has been put into this BPF system on Linux. So you might see the term BPF for the extended packet filter floating around. So basically, this virtual machine has been extended. It's been given more registers. They're now 64-bit, not 32-bit. It's got a proper stack to work with. Its instruction set has been expanded, made more complete. So these changes mean that we can now run more general purpose programs on this virtual machine rather than just packet filtering specific programs. So I say more general purpose. There are actually still restrictions on what can load into it. The Linux kernel will run a verifier on any program that you attempt to load into BPF and will filter out, for example, any program with backwards jumps. This is to prevent potentially infinite loops happening out there. Not a good thing. Additionally, a thing called maps have been added to BPF, which are a form of data storage accessible from within this virtual machine. Maps allow us to store much more data than would fit on the relatively small stack that we have to work with. And data that we put into maps persists beyond the lifetime of a single BPF program. This means that we can use maps to perform aggregation, internal aggregation of data, which we can later asynchronously dump this aggregated data to user, which gives the same performance benefits as internal packet filtering in classic BPF. Maps in BPF can actually come in a few varieties. You can get them with, as just standard arrays, but the way we use them in BPFtrace is as maps. So we have arbitrary keys, as kind of hash tables, where they can have arbitrary data as keys and arbitrary data as values. Maps also come in per CPU varieties, which means that multiple threads can be writing the same map at the same time, and we don't have to worry about conflicts, and there's no need for locking. So they're a pretty performant way to aggregate data in the kernel. So now that we can run almost general purpose programs in the kernel, we can perform internal aggregation. The final step that we need is to be able to use BPF for tracing, is the ability to attach our BPF programs to other events that we want to trace. Unfortunately, that work has been done as well. So we can do dynamic tracing of kernel functions with pprobes, user-land functions with uprobes. We can perform static tracing on kernel trace points and on USDTs. We can hook into hardware events like cache misses, software events like page faults, and we can also schedule our BPF programs to run as arbitrary time intervals to allow us to do profiling, for example. So all these changes to the BPF system on Linux have been done within the past 4 or so years, so you do need a relatively recent kernel to actually take advantage of them. The absolute minimum requirement to use BPFtrace is Linux 4.1, which gives you access to kernel dynamic tracing. If you upgrade to 4.3, you get user space tracing. 4.7 gives you kernel trace points, and at port 4.9 have access to all the perf events from within BPF. So if you do have Linux 4.9 or more recent, so that's any kernel release within the past 2 or so years, then you have access to the full capabilities of BPFtrace and can go trace your system to your heart's content. Okay, so now onto the actual language of BPFtrace. It might look familiar to some of you who used previous system tracing tools. The language is inspired by things like OR as well as pre-existing tracing tools, but some changes have been made to the syntax to better fit into the underlying BPF system to power them. So for this simple program, the first line, trace point syscalls sys enter read, defines what we want to trace. It's the point that our BPF program will attach onto. So in this case, it's a kernel trace point that corresponds to the read system call. Then, when every time the read system call is fired on this computer, our BPF program within the curly brackets will execute. So what this program does is define a map using the map symbol identifier. And this map will just keep count of how many times this function is run. Again, this aggregation, the counting is done in the kernel, so there's no need to double this read event back to space and add it up there. It's all done in the kernel, and then at the end of the BPFtrace session, we get to return a single integer and display that to the user. So let's try and run that. Right, pretty type in. Touch one program onto the system read system call. 2 seconds. There. So we had 31 read system calls during that time. So we can actually extend this program a little bit to instead of just counting the read system calls, what we wanted to count every system call on our computer. So we can stick in a wildcard on the program, and then we can also add a key onto our map. So if we stick in probe there. So probe is a BPFtrace built-in, and in this case it corresponds to syscall, sysenter, and then whatever that the actual probe that is firing is. So it'll be the name of the syscall, essentially. So this script will hopefully display a count of how many times each system call is fired system-wide on our computer. So we attach 320 probes, one for each system call. It's going to be very long. And then we get back the total results. So we had 1,025 received message calls, 621 closes. Then up at the top we had 2 connect system calls. Okay, this example shows how to profile BPFtrace. So we define our probe so that it will fire at a rate of 90 Hz. And then in the body of this, we're just counting how many times we see each stack trace. So this is system-wide profiling of kernel stack traces. I'll just give you an example. I've got that in the file. Yep, so I can just run that file. I'll just run something to the stack traces. There we go. So obviously most of the work is with the stack traces are just the idle events, because my computer's not doing very much at the moment. This isn't necessarily very easy to read. So we see we've got 878 of this stack trace, 42 of this stack trace. But potentially in the future, this is the kind of thing that we could pipe into other tools to give us better visualizations, like flame graphs. Okay, here's a slightly more complicated example. I actually took this out of a pre-written tool that was included in the BPFtrace repository. This tool is called bio-latency, and what it does is display a histogram of the latency of each block I/O operation happening on our computer. So I'll just give a quick walkthrough of how this works. So first of all, we catch on to block.io start and just record the fact set. Then at block.io completion, we have a correct it first of all to ensure that we have recorded the start time. It's just an example check. For those who've used previous tracing tools, you'll know that a predicate is an expression, and if this expression evaluates to true, then the rest of our program will execute. If the predicate evaluates to false, then we'll just ignore this particular event at this time. So once we do go into block.io completion, having recorded the start time, we calculate the difference between the current timestamp at completion and the timestamp we save at start, convert it from nanoseconds to microseconds, so it's a bit easier to understand. And then we define a new BPF map that we want to treat as a histogram of these latency values. So I'll give this one a right as well. Sorry, that one is in a proof called bio latency. So actually, we've got quite a few pre-written tools that I'll show you now. Mostly just copied from ECC style tools, but converted into BPF scripting language. So I'll run bio latency. I need to actually create some block IRS so we get some data to view. Sorry, that's the wrong slides. There we go, we get a nice histogram of the amount of time in microseconds spent in block IO operations. So you can see they range from 64 microseconds all the way up to 256 milliseconds. So 64 milliseconds to 120 milliseconds being the most common. If we wanted to dig into this a bit further, rather than just displaying a histogram of latencies, we can actually run another tool that we've got in BPFtrace called BioSnoop. I'll show you that as well. So what BioSnoop does is pretty similar to biolatency. It measures the latency of every block IO operation, and instead of aggregating them into a histogram, it just prints them out in real time. So that it might not work so well if you've got huge amounts of block IO operations. You can get quite a lot, quite messy. There you go. Just tracing all the block IO operations system-wide. We've got quite a few tracing tools pre-written for BPFtrace actually. I'm just going to go through a few of them now. So like Capable is another one. This one traces every process system-wide that requests extra capabilities on the computer. It might be useful to help with debugging, or for security people who are trying to come up with a wide list of what capabilities processes actually need to see what they're requesting. We can do stuff like stat snoop to listen in on every stat system call that's done twice. We can trace every new process that is started up, like we'll do in LS, which is there. And that's a system-wide tracing. Any user of any process started up, show there. So that exec snoop one actually works by tracing the exec v system call. We can actually do something similar with user line tracing. So if I trace, so we've got another program, right, called bash read line, which just traces every line bash reads in. So this will also show me typing ls, if it's loaded properly. There we go. It will also show me typing ls, and it will also show non-new processes starting up. Will show everything that's written bash. Okay. One more. BFS stat. This one is kind of a halfway point between aggregating data and printing out at the end and tracing every single event. So what this does is aggregates data every second and then prints a summary. And then again, the timers and stuff, or the profiling is all done in BPF. There's no extra script working up BPF Tracing. So there's one more user land one I will show you actually. So we can trace C actually. So this script here, again, host latency, attaches some new probes onto libc, onto a few functions in there, get address info, go to my name, go to my name2, and also some new ret probes, which are like new probes, instead of firing at the start of the function, fire at the end of the function. So we just measure how long each of these libc functions is executed. So if I try forcing some DNS hookups now, you can see that took 30 milliseconds. For example, I do my website, 451 milliseconds. Don't know, I don't know. And it's down before if we do it a second time, because the MC is obviously cache-less. Okay, there's a couple of other features that I wanted to showcase of the language. So BPFtrace can actually understand C structures. So you can either define them up at the top of your BPFtrace script, like I've done here, or you can hash include a header file, and then in order to make use of it, all you have to do is cast something that you know is a pointer to your struct, pass it to your struct, and then this variable remembers what type it is, and you can access the field of struct as if we're in C. So in addition to being able to define structs at the top of your function, at the top of your script, and the header files, with trace points, that's not really necessary. So actually we use the trace point format files that Stephen mentioned earlier, things in sys, kernel sys events, sorry, wherever it is. So we use this to understand what arguments trace points take. And we have an R which automatically knows what type it takes, what type it is. So I've shown a few built-ins in those examples, but there's obviously way too many in BPFtrace to go through today. We've got a huge range of built-in variables like process ID, command name, arguments. We've got lots of, even more built-in functions actually. We've got stuff to do aggregations like histograms, linear histograms, sums, min, max, count. We can do printfs within BPFtrace. We can resolve symbols from names. Or we even have a system built in to run arbitrary shell commands. So we've just been adding new built-ins to BPFtrace as we come across the need for them. So I'm sure there'll be stuff here that some of you will want. So I'm sure there's stuff missing here that some of you will want. It's actually quite easy to add your own new built-ins. Brendan Greg has helpfully contributed some documentation to BPFtrace, which is in BPFtrace repository on GitHub, detailing the exact steps needed for a developer to add a new built-in to BPFtrace. And it's surprisingly simple. All you need to do is some changes to the parser and then add some code generation and tests, of course. Tests. Okay, so now I'll talk a little bit about the internals of BPFtrace and how it works. So essentially, BPFtrace is just a compiler for converting these high-level tracing scripts down into BPF bytecode, at which point the Linux kernel takes over and does the hard work of building the tracing stuff. So the compiler starts off with Alexa and the parser. We use Flex and Bison for this to generate an abstract and text string. We also use a little bit of libplan to help us understand C header files and structs. Next is a semantic analysis stage, which is just there to make sure your program makes sense and you're not doing anything stupid mistakes like wrong number of arguments or function call, trying to compare an integer to a string, anything like that. Before finally going on to the code generation stage. Code generation converts the abstract syntax tree into LLVM intermediate representation, surprisingly using the LLVM C++ API. This is probably where most of the code in BPFtrace is, like the densest file, definitely. So once we've got the LLVM intermediate representation, LLVM does some optimizations on that. And fortunately, someone else has written an LLVM backend for BPF, so LLVM is able to compile into BPF bytecode from that. The next stage is we use some library functions provided by BCC to load our BPF bytecode into a kernel, so it can run in this virtual machine. We also need to attach this loaded program onto whatever events we want to trace, like HROs, trace points, etc. And at this point, our BPFtrace program is running and tracing hopefully. But BPFtrace's job, the user language program, is not done yet. It has to sit there, it sits there and listens on the perf output buffer. This is the way we can receive data asynchronously from our BPF program that's running in the kernel. Printf statements, for example, just pump strings through there to the BPFtrace process, which then is out to the user. There's also a few other asynchronous actions, like the system built-in to execute arbitrary shell commands, and the exit built-in just to terminate your BPFtrace session. So once your BPFtrace session does end, whether that's through the exit built-in or just pressing Control-C on it, we detach our trace points from any events they're attached to, we unload our program from the kernel, and then finally we request all the data that's been written to maps during the lifetime of our program and put it back into user space. So this is all the aggregated data we've hopefully been collecting. Now collect it back into user space and print it out to the user. Just before I do talk about this slide, I'm wondering how many people here have actually used BCC? Okay, it's a few. I'm not going to knock BCC in the slide, I do think it's still using it. For those who don't know, BCC is the BPF compiler collection. And in addition to providing some libraries that we use for BPFtrace for interacting with BPF, BCC is also a tracing tool in its own right. So given that there was already an existing tracing tool based on BPF, what was the need for a new one, BPFtrace? Well, I think this example kind of showcases why I wanted a higher level tracing tool. With BCC, you write your tracing scripts in a dialect of C with some special help macros to help you interact with BPF. So this gives you access to the full powers of the BPF system in Linux. It gives you stuff that BPFtrace can't do, stuff that BPFtrace will never be able to do. But it comes at the cost of meaning your scripts are pretty verbose, and it can be quite tough to write even a simple script. And that's where BPFtrace shines. It abstracts a lot away for you. Maybe it doesn't give you as many capabilities as BCC does, but it's very easy to perform ad hoc tracing or exploration on your system with it. So BCC probably still has a use in terms of a use for writing tools that you might write once and then distribute to other people that will be run many times. You can have a lot more options to these tools, more features. But BPFtrace is more of an ad hoc tracing tool. If you know there's a problem on a computer right now and just need to start digging away and exploring, BPFtrace might be the tool you want to go to. Okay, so I think we did our public announcement of BPFtrace about 3 weeks ago now. Before that, all the work was being done just on my GitHub account. And now we've moved on to the iAdvisor GitHub account. Had some blog posts around at the same time. And since then, we've had a lot more people start looking at BPFtrace. We're up to 21 contributors at my last check. Lots of people also submitting bug reports, which I also appreciate. So our current focus in terms of work with BPFtrace is just trying to get it to work on more systems. Work on every distribution out there, work on different LLVM versions. Basically not just only work on my laptop. So if any of you want to try out BPFtrace, find it doesn't work, I'd appreciate just a bug report pointing out it doesn't work, or even a pull request if you know how to fix it. Slightly longer term, we've been adding plans for new features onto the GitHub issue tracker, so anyone is free to go and take a look if you're interested in working on it. Got a few plans like new built-ins that we know are required. I personally would like to have better error messages out of the Bison parser, because they're not particularly nice at the moment. And finally, I've also heard rumours about something called BTF, which is the BPF type format, which I'm guessing is similar to CTF, although I've not really looked into BTF, sorry, so many acronyms. I've not really looked into BTF all that much, but I've heard it might be able to allow BPFtrace to understand what types we're tracing, so we wouldn't be needing to manual casting, as I showed earlier. Again, if anyone knows anything about that, I would really like to talk to you. So that's it. You can find the code at github.com/iOadvisor/BPFtrace.
Any questions?
So one feedback I heard about eBPF is on embedded systems, it's pretty much impossible to hold a compiler. So I was wondering if someone looked into having the bytecode generation be done, and perhaps, not having the optimization stages of the compiler and everything, but just having a dumb translator that fits within a single program that uses Flex and Bison, add the ASD, and then translate directly into a bytecode.
Yeah, absolutely. So BPFtrace doesn't do this, but there's also another tool on the iOadvisor repository as well called Fly, which is basically exactly what you described. So there's less development going on that, and it has less features at the moment. Although I've been told there's a lot of work going onto it off the repository at the moment. But Fly does what you said. It directly uses Bison and Flex, and then directly generates BPF bytecode, and it's designed for BPF tracing on embedded systems. So yeah.
Any other questions? So Amazon has not used BPFtrace, but maybe you could explain what the differences between this and BPFtrace is. I want to have a peripheral view of impression of BPFtrace.
So I haven't actually looked at BPFtrace on Linux. I know that's something Oracle has been doing quite recently. But primarily, BPF is a feature that is there in the Linux kernel at the moment. So there's no extra kernel components you need to be able to use BPFtrace. It's just this userland program that interacts using the BPF system call. I can't talk about BPFtrace.
We still have time for more questions.
So for the structure definitions and the argumentless types and return value types, if we could somehow represent them in a more compact format, say by parsing Sierra files or post-processing dwarf, would you be open to using it within BPFtrace?
Absolutely. We can talk about that later if you want. We'd definitely be
I would love to.
more ways of doing that kind of stuff.
Any questions? Thank you very much.